It's like
you know?
every other day there's a new Kickstarter for
Yeah.
Bob's new Cthulhu Light D&D campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Basement Discourse. That's the name of the show. I'm Jace, the gamer guy. There's Brady over there. Actually, he's over there. And then there's Justin down there. And Brady will do the weeb things. Justin rolls a dice or two. And we're here to talk about, is more content more gooder?
Yeah.
I think in the case
Is
of
it
Basement
better?
Discourse, it is.
Of course.
Always. Like a
Give me
fine
more
wine, we
content.
get better with age, but also content.
Correct.
The bigger the bottle, the better the bottle of wine, right? So that's the value that we bring.
Well,
I'm just
Brady is an
trying to
expert
drag
on
this
big
whole
bottles
analogy.
of wine.
This is true, but he would drink it all, and we don't ask that everyone sits here and drinks all of our content.
I just
Because then
realized
they'll end up
I've
raising their
Then they'll
sword
be
and
too
doing the
full.
campaign.
got a 5-liter bottle of mango wine distilling in the next room.
That's filth. He's such a fucking weirdo.
He's fucking making bathtub moonshine now.
Yeah. He's just getting ready for that time when he goes to prison.
He
That's
should
going to be the
load
name
up
of his
on
anime.
Vaseline.
It's going to be the name of his
Glass jar.
anime. That time I
Not the
turned
toilet.
31 and went to prison.
That time I learned how to make real wine in the slammer.
Nice.
Is more
more
content,
content.
gooder? In terms of anime, I'm putting in the vote no. In terms of gaming, I like it a little more.
I think with anime, it's always going to be bad. Like Dragon Ball is the perfect example. It's just you flood it and it's just too much and it's all the same shit by the end of it.
It's hard
Like,
to
it's
argue with,
just-
given the recent movie is just like almost a shot by shot of old stuff done in a new way, and it's still the same fucking story, and it's like,
But I don't think that's inherently a problem of more content. So, like, yes, I do believe that certain shows should die at a certain point.
Yeah.
We've thoroughly discussed this when we talk about, like, Stranger Things.
Yep.
I don't believe after the whole Vecna story that
Hmm.
it should continue. That's it. Should end.
It is, isn't it?
As
Like,
far as I'm aware,
in theory.
yes.
Yeah, that's what I
But
think.
I did come out and say this well before that was confirmed.
Yeah, I feel like they're making so much money off of the entire deal. They're gonna do something else. They're either
there'll
gonna
be like
do
a Hopper
a
spin-off.
prequel or something else or a totally new setting and all the rest of it with the Stranger Things vibe. They're still gonna try and keep doing that because
Netflix
there's no
will.
reason they wouldn't. Yeah, because money.
But in saying that, I don't think that's always inherently a problem, provided that the new content is good. And that's the other thing, right? Is the more a market is flooded, it's because people want something, right? So, maybe people want, I turned 35 and now I date my uncle's sister, the anime. Like, maybe that's what people want. People are fucking weird, especially people who watch anime.
My uncle's sister, so he's dating his aunt.
Or his mum.
Oh!
I have a suggestion in regards to it with anime that's maybe more specific to anime. Might apply to gaming. I don't think often the Japanese are very good at telling which transformed, like which adapted manga or even an anime original is going to be the one to take off. So at this point, because they still do just fuck all research into the international, they're still like constantly surprised that they have international audience, right? They're not always good at getting it out to us because of that reason or doing international deals. They're just convinced that only Japanese still like this. I think they just throw spaghetti at the wall because they don't know what's going to work. Because sometimes you can be pretty sure that most of the time a shonen will get at least a certain amount of views, but there are random ones that come out of the waters that just hit hard and people don't quite. My Dress Up Darling, good example. Barely, not a big deal. All of the mangas that get picked up in the Your Name series, Your Name and Weathering with You, and now the next one, they weren't, necessarily best-selling mangas. They've done amazing as movies.
Yeah.
So I would argue that sometimes they do this just because they're throwing shit at the wall because they have no idea why or what will work. And I hate that because there's a lot of terrible stuff. And my day-to-day thing is I often get people being like, I'm kind of interested. But then I opened up this list and I saw, using my cooking skills in another world.
I totally get that. And
it really gets in my way personally. I just feel personally attacked by all this extra terrible content. That's all.
I get that, but in saying that, there's still there's plenty of terrible content, but there's got to be a market for it. And I do understand the spaghetti at the wall thing because they do it a lot with Slice of Life, and that's why nearly all Slice of Life stuff is only one season. Because they do it just to market the manga, and that's it. They're just
yep,
spaghetti at the wall. If someone likes it, go watch, go read the manga. That's it.
Yep.
But if you apply that to anything, your logic about someone being oh, I'm interested in this, but then I looked it up, and there's all this weird shit. You could take that over to gaming as well. Even if you take just something specific like Souls likes. First thing, if someone looks up Souls likes, they're going to see Star Wars Fallen Order, fairly normal. Then you're going to get Code Vein, and nearly all the artwork for that is anime, big titties,
yeah,
giant
I was going to
swords.
say that Code Vein is very...
And immediately you're going to be oh, is this... Do I really want to delve down this rabbit hole? But the thing is, this is for the people that that played Dark Souls and they were fuck, I need more. And then they want more in that genre. Same deal with all the weird isekai. It's someone's oh, I watched Konosuba, fucking loved it. I want weird fucking isekai. And so now they're watching fucking My Butler's My Uncle's Dad. And yeah.
There's literally one at the moment.
It's just so inbred for you.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
It does. But there's one right now that's My Labyrinth in a Harem or something like that. It's fucking insane. Reincarnated as an apple is not a joke. That's an actual show. I just can't.
But then there's also, when you think about lame games as well, there's literally a rock simulator out there. It is a thing you can get, and you literally just change what rock you're going to be and put yourself in an environment and sit there.
Okay, I do have a slight discrepancy between these examples, though. When it comes to anime, you are almost, due to still international rights and all that stuff, especially in Australia, you're going to look up the list online. Now, you're a gamer who's a PC gamer, so you will look up the list on stream of Souls likes. A lot of not necessarily serious gamers, let's call us filthy casuals, won't do that. We'll walk into EB Games. So we're not going to see those lists of titles of pet rocks and stuff like that. We're going to see the mainstream games, and there's still quite a bit of content that's not necessarily good.
Okay, so I'm going to kick that ball straight back in your sack, because the people who are going to be watching anime and just getting into it are not going to be the people that have just signed up to Crunchyroll. They're going to be the people that are walking into JB Hi-Fi and walking into the anime
That's
section and
a
just
good
copying
point.
Fucking big globules in the eyes of just Howl's Moving Castle for 38 fucking rows. I have no...
Christian Bale, man.
Castle is a fucking good anime.
Yeah. I still haven't watched it. I need to watch that.
It's good.
Yeah,
but,
I know, right? I've seen so many more Ghibli, but I haven't watched that one. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's the same thing. It's anytime you're very casual trying to get into the broader spectrum of things, you're just going to cop all the generic candy and whatnot. And yeah, so I think...
So I forget that you can actually buy anime in this country because I kind of refuse to do it because I'm not paying like $80 for 20 episodes.
Yeah,
and then
it's
that
balls.
show is going to go on for 300 episodes.
Yeah.
Like,
and Attack
no.
on Titan comes out and you're like, sweet, the last season. And then you buy it and you realize, oh, that's a lie. It's 3 or 4 times over. It's a lie.
I
They say it's
genuinely
one
think they're
season, it
doing this
still
as a
counts.
meme now. This has got to be a meme. You can't do the
Here it
final
goes.
season, part 3, getting released in 2
Part
parts.
1.
That's ridiculous.
This actually reminded me of like all these dumb things I wanted to do. So when I was in that band with Rowan and that, Belima Conda, I had great ideas about trolling our listeners. So one idea was to, I named every single EP that we did after a song that was not on that EP. So the song
So
in the title
frustrating.
of the EP was actually on a different EP.
Oh, that'd be really annoying if you were on Spotify, like if you're in the world now,
Yeah,
and they were just trying to find a
search
song.
it.
Like you're just searching a song, you're like, oh fuck, I can't remember the name of the band, but it was like Balls and
You
Cats.
broke my tent. You
Yeah.
Balls and Cats. That does sound like a song I'd write.
It does, yeah. I was trying to think like what's a Jace thing? And then they look up Balls and Cats and it's actually like not the song they were
It's
looking
just
for.
his
It's the
face.
fucking it's the EP. And is it the actual Balls
got
and Cats
cat ears,
EP?
and he's like the Bolchidian from Men in Black.
No. But and my other idea was to have, like, you know how in the CD cases, if you pry the back part apart, there's a spot that you can still fit a disc.
Yeah.
I was going to put a blank disc in the main part and hide the real disc under the back.
Such an asshole.
But
Basement Dwellers,
trolling
never
people
fear.
who thoroughly
When it
enjoy
comes to
what you
content
make
ideas,
is great.
it goes around and
Yeah.
around us 3 long before it gets released as that.
Yep.
Yeah, so the OG point there, I did forget that you can buy stuff from JB Hi-Fi in Australia. That's probably my bad
not
on that
Saturday,
one. And
or at least not in person anymore.
no, they've gone online on the
They're
way
done.
of
Yeah.
many things.
I'm surprised they've lasted this long. I
am
expected
too.
Blockbuster to outlive them. Because
So they
Sanity
did-
is a fucking joke with prices. Jesus Christ.
They
Mm.
also did the same thing that EB is trying desperately to do, and they're trying to insert themselves into a pop culture way. So they
Yep.
started selling pops and games and
Which is exactly why
all this
Zing
stuff.
exists for EB. You know what I mean? Like it's the other side of the
Zing
fence
is
for
the
EB.
smartest move I've seen
Mhm.
a gaming company do. And walking into EB and our local one, I see the least smartest move I've ever seen a human being pull.
Yeah.
The manager
yeah.
of our local EB is the fucking worst. He
One where
behaves.
sub suddenly
I
appears.
genuinely hope he watches. He's the worst. He behaves like a used car salesman every time I walk in there. And I go
I'm
in
gonna
there,
do
like,
him. I'm gonna
twice
do
a
him. I'm
week.
Hey there. You need a hand with anything?
Yeah.
Are you looking for anything in particular? Are you what are you into? What do you like to do here? What sort of what console do you have?
That's
Hang on,
it. Those are the
motherfucker! I'm
exact
standing in front of
questions.
Xbox, so I guess what a fucking Nintendo Switch. Like,
Those are the
what do you
exact
think?
questions every time.
Every
And I'm there,
time,
like
he
once
never
or twice a
remembers
week.
you,
He never remembers me. It's the best.
and then he still
Hates
comes
it
up.
so
Hey pal,
much.
can I help you with anything? Are you shopping for anything in particular? What are you into? What do
And
you
here's the
like?
thing
You
that
like
gets me.
Some sports game? You like sport? I like
It's
sports.
too
How's
good. You're making me
sports?
uncomfortable.
You know what?
Here's the thing that gets me. Most gamers, like not all gamers, but quite a few, are going to be somewhat introverted. And this dude,
Oh man, I'm
you
all
mean?
about
He's-
just walking in. I know what I'm looking for, and I already know what the
Yeah.
price is. So I'm like,
exactly.
"Bitch, just price compare and fuck off."
If I stand still at one spot for more than a second, he appears like the dude from Mr. Deeds. He's like, very, very sneaky, sir. And just I was like, what
I was
console
more
do you
thinking-
have?
I was thinking the Euro trip guy in the tunnel on the train. Who's
Excuse
But see, I associate myself more with that So, have you guys seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Only a little, but I don't remember.
So,
it.
Not
you
all
know,
of it, yeah.
when Ron Swanson goes into the hardware store and it's like Bunnings, and the guy walks up to him and he's like, "Can I help you?" And he just looks at him and he goes,
I know more than you. All right.
and just continues on.
Dude,
That's me in EB Games.
that's pretty much it. And like, I was trying to look, and they starting to do some like fucking shady advertising. I was looking at the PS5s, and they don't actually tell you how much they are. They tell you how much
they're
you can
just
get
like-
it for with trading.
Yeah. So it's $40 if you trade in your nut,
Your soul.
one finger, maybe give us your eye or like the other nut, and probably 3 consoles. You know,
Yeah.
if you got that, then you can have a $40.
Like, if they're offering free vasectomies for a PlayStation,
So I was like looking at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it just appears out of nowhere. And he's like, oh, you need one, do you? I'm like, yes, me and most people. Like fucking
Yeah.
most PlayStation players, yeah. I'm like, how much is it on his own? He's like, I don't know. Are you after the disc or the digital? I'm like, the disc. He's like, is there a reason? I'm like, because I.
Is there a reason you
like,
value your job, motherfucker? Because if I get the digital, you
That's
have one less
exactly it.
customer.
I was like, partially because I live in the Highlands, internet's not always reliable. I've also known that occasionally sites can crash when everyone's trying to buy something on release. There's a few reasons. Why are you asking me? I also like to occasionally buy pre-owned games. That goes out the window if I'm digital only. So I'm like, why are you trying to convince me for you to lose your job?
I'm just shocked that they even offer a disc version of the PS5. Like, I have not owned a disc drive in my computer for about 10 years now.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
And I guess they are
just-
probably slowly going towards that method.
They
of
are moving
things,
that way
for sure.
For sure.
Mm.
Yeah, it's without
So
a
I
doubt.
bought
And
a,
it's also like $250 more for the disc one.
Yeah, for that exact reason, because you can get secondhand copies. You can't get a secondhand digital copy unless you, I guess, bought their account or whatever.
I almost
guess you can do
wanted-
that. It is a thing you can do,
They
but
can ban
it is.
you from
Yeah.
the account.
Yeah, well, I bought a Switch game the other day for my daughter, and like opened it up, and it was like digital download. I was like, why did I get a case? Why?
They've been doing
It's so
I've never
frustrating.
seen that. That's
They've done it for
hilarious.
heaps along with the PC, right? Like,
I'm pretty sure the first game I ever saw like that was Saints Row 2. And I
Yeah,
bought
right.
that, and there was just no disc in it, and it just had a code.
and you're like, what is this world? Our internet's not that good.
Yeah, well,
Like, cool, I can play
had-
this in 3 days.
I'm still
I had
downloading
no
a single
internet
song
on
on
my computer
LimeWire
at
for
the
2
time.
hours. Like at this point, like,
LimeWire.
yeah, classic. On my MySpace page.
But LimeWire brings it full circle to the is more content better in a way. I'm stretching a little bit.
It's like fucking what?
It sort of does, because that was our first introduction.
Yeah, because when you go to look up
mass
something like
amounts of
Treasure
media.
Island on LimeWire, and then all of a sudden you've got like Treasure Island XXX and Treasure Island XXX plus dog, you start getting real confused. Like it's real,
No,
it's full
we
of.
do not get confused. Plus dog goes in plus bin.
Jesus, Justin.
I don't know where your idea of like too much content was going with the LimeWire talk.
I thought that made perfect sense. I just don't know why you had to take it there.
No, that Justin's line was perfectly reasonable.
Yeah,
Anyway.
totally fine. Yep.
I think it's a sketchy line to follow, right?
Yep.
Because more content is always welcome. Like, I always need new games to play. I've only played 300 and something out of the 700 games I have on Steam, whatever. But, there is always something more that I want to play. Same with anime. I may not watch a whole lot of it, but when I run out of what I have, I want more shit there. But they can't just produce shit on demand for me. I would love if they would, but they can't. So they've just got to produce shit that they think will sell. And a lot of it's going to be garbage. And it's up to me to not be a shit cunt and to just find the good stuff.
I feel like sometimes it just is garbage, and I feel like when they're making it, they almost know, right? Like they've got to be like, well, that was quick 10 minutes of our life, I guess we'll just send that out.
Yeah, so
Like,
I think
are
more
they
genres
really
are
happy
getting
with it?
more genres are getting sort of flopped in what Jace was saying that they do with the slice of life thing, where they just do one season and tell you to go buy the manga, or they try and up those sales.
Yeah. Just a little tie-in thing.
I don't know. Like the isekai has obviously taken that route.
It's happening a lot with like even video games, like, you know, especially for the Switch. Like you'll see like freaking LOL Dolls brings out a game, and it's absolutely balls. Like it's terrible, as you would expect, but it's really just an advert for all of their merch, and like over and over again that happens. And my daughter is like finishes it in like 6 hours. I'm like, cool, that was worth $50. Cool, awesome.
What the fuck?
There's actually a thing called vaporware. It's like a term that people use in gaming for just churning out shit to just hopefully make some money with as minimal effort as possible. Now, one example that I've seen numerous videos on is a game called Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. Now, this is like a truck
over the road
racing game. And
over the road racing.
Hover over a road, like it's hovercrafts, but you still got to stay on the road.
It's like the floor is lava, but you can't touch the road.
Oddly enough, the game is so badly made that isn't all that far from reality.
Oh, Jesus. But not
So-
intentionally.
It is absolutely awful, and you can actually win races by going in reverse as long as you possibly can, because the speedo doesn't understand reverse, and it flips around to like minus 999,999 miles an hour.
Fucking hell.
And it's an awfully made game, and it was just churned to make money. And what this company then did after they made that game, they released a completely different game. I can't remember what its name was, but it was supposed to be like a car racing game. And it is the exact same game, same physics, same models, same tracks. They just changed so there are some car models as well. That is it.
Wow.
And they sold it again for full price. But ultimately, that game probably took them a week to make. And if they made $2,000-$3,000 out of it, that's profit. And so some companies will do that. And the same could probably be said with some anime. If it's really low budget and done, you know, by a bunch of fucking students in fucking Kyoto or some shit, then fuck,
There's also a
maybe
positive
that's it.
side to this, I guess, that we might be missing. There are, in terms of like mangas being adapted, this doesn't really work for anime onlys. There are people out there who might just really liked a certain IP or a certain story, and they would just like to see bits of it animated, regardless of whether it's, you know, going to get continued for multiple seasons. They just want to see what one or two of their favorite characters literally brought to life somewhat on the screen.
Yeah.
Which is
I mean,
cool,
you can
and
have your
that's
fans.
what happened in the reverse sense in Tokyo Ghoul Season 3, which we try not to speak of, where they literally came out with an announcement saying, we're animating it, but don't watch it unless you've read the manga. The problem was that didn't make it to international audiences for the same
so
problem
confused
I
as
mentioned
shit.
earlier,
Yeah.
because they don't realize they have international audiences.
Yeah.
So that was the reverse situation. But there's probably a more positive spin on this, where turning out more content sometimes means that one little fan who liked that indie title with like 4 other people gets to see it animated. So maybe we're just cranky old men from time to time.
No, I'm
Maybe.
No,
Yeah,
you've been
it's okay
firmly
with
on the you've been firmly on the positive side. Justin, where's your tiebreaker? Because I've been more the cynic in this conversation.
Look, well, I'll spin it over to D&D, because D&D is a flooded market, as you know,
missed
5th
saying
edition.
roll it.
shut up.
Piece of shit.
Damn, I can't always say rolling for it. You know, it's very popular. I want to
True.
be too cool. I want to be too cool, you know. Yeah, so D&D anyway is a pretty flooded market as far as, you know, when Wizards alone bring out content every other month, you know, it's really difficult to even keep up with their end of things as far as source books and adventures go. There's no way they, unless you were doing it full time, there's no way you could actually keep up with all of the adventures that they're releasing as far as like books are concerned, because some of the adventures are like planned out to be quite long. So to do them is just impossible, which is probably another reason why they brought out things like Candlekeep Mysteries, which is a bunch of shorter ones for the people like myself complaining about how long those ones are. But then there's more. There's 13 or so different encounters in that book alone. So then you've got all of those to flash out too. Then you've got all the starter sets, you've got all of the different source books, and that's just from those guys. And then you've got every other person doing a Kickstarter and or other tabletop, versions of everything outside of D&D as well. Anything you can think of most likely has a tabletop RPG attached to it now. Fallout has one, Witcher has one, Say a Name probably got one. Exactly. Like everything's coming out with these. So I feel like what was kind of almost a flooded market for D&D is now becoming a flooded market like Monopoly was 10 years ago when it just went, what's this show? Oh, fucking Monopoly it. Now I feel like it's
D&D
tabletop RPG it. Yeah,
there is.
That's the perfect mashup.
Like there is a difference though with that. So Monopoly is widely Monopoly. They don't often add many rules. There's a slight
no, they
difference.
don't. Some of them are different. The Star Wars and stuff.
Fucked up rules.
Yeah, some of them can be wildly different. And I get that they're sort of a collectible thing, but yeah, they're really finding these niches now. Rick and Morty, D&D, which is actually a Wizards one, but like there's just everything. Yeah, it's not specifically D&D, it's tabletop RPG, but a lot of them have the 5e rule sets as well, so they're not really reinventing the wheel even, but there is a lot out there. I would say there'd be over 500 now of different RPGs, like tabletop RPGs.
You guys like Kickstarters that I've seen for like horror D&D campaigns, because
I said
that shit I fuck with.
Yeah, and so a lot of them are actually piggybacking off of the fifth, like fifth edition as well. Like they actually openly will say it, like, we are a fifth edition version. This is our thing, and this is what we're selling.
So I'm guessing 5e
comes with 100 minis and whatever.
Copyrighted.
No,
like
that's
saying
OGL
something's 5e.
works.
Yeah.
OGL is like, so depending on fucking all the rules and shit, they may have to pay a certain amount of money to Wizards, or they're allowed to create this provided they don't use X likenesses. Like for example, if one of these campaigns put Vecna in there, bam, they've got to be paying big cash monies.
Yeah,
shit like that.
Yeah, but they can say it's a 5e adventure. I think seems to be either free or very cheap to be able to say.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's free because you're just saying that you use those rules.
I have no idea how it all works, to be honest, especially now. It's all just up in the air. So
not like it's your field on our podcast. That's fine.
Well, I don't write them and sell them. I just use them. Or actually, I just write my own, to be honest, and use some source material. That was
actually my question. So, when it comes to all those source books and those tales and those encounters, do you think, obviously there's a market for it because people keep buying them, but I kind of got the impression most people only use them for a bit and then probably just do homebrew anyway, because
it depends on the DM. It really does. Really? Some people absolutely thrive on it. Yeah, they really enjoy doing those books. But I picked up a couple that were probably not their best, to be honest, straight up. And so I started reading through it. I'm like, this isn't fleshed out at all. None of this makes any sense. They're not building any characters. They're just railroading the characters into doing this stuff. Like, I think it was the one of the ones I've got up there, but I can't think of it. The Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and apparently it's one of the absolute worst ones you could have started with. But I was like, sweet, intrigue, thievery. It's in Waterdeep, a big city. Like, this sounds like fun. It was terrible. Like, it's really badly mashed together, and they're just like, oh, just in between now and then, just do some things, and then make this happen. In this place, it has to happen right there and at this time and a fireball, and you're like, what the shit? It just didn't make any sense. So, but I think I just picked up the wrong one. So other people would absolutely love it, and they have done many different campaigns.
Well, you could compare it to say someone watching the Witcher TV show versus playing the video game, right? You might have storylines that are exactly the same at certain points, but some people want the flexibility of being able to interact and make it more diverse and,
Yeah.
molded to how they choose to play. Whereas other people don't want to do the creating a whole world and like a lot of people aren't storytellers. And
No, that's
they
right.
play a good game.
They just want to play a board game-esque sort of style thing. Really, I guess that's why D&D is so diverse, because you can play it however you feel you want to. So it works for both sides of that. But
I really
definitely think it's a flooded market. I think there's a lot of stuff out there, but at the same time, they keep doing it. So again, probably successful. If for those people who want to play those very specific tabletop RPGs, it's there for them now, and someone's done all of the hard work to make rules. So, I own the Witcher one. I think it'd be cool to play that one day because I like the Witcher. So, you own the Cyberpunk one. So we're already like, we're complaining about it being a flooded market, but we're also buying straight into it.
Jace
so,
hasn't complained yet. But
no, he hasn't. That's true. Yeah.
Technically, Cyberpunk is not 5e related in any way, shape, or form. So,
no, tabletop RPG though.
And it is also fairly old. So
it is. Yeah, it's actually one of the OGs. Like it's up there with one of the OGs.
I think the
so
first
which is cool.
iteration was early 90s. So
you also touched on something which could be another topic for another time, maybe. But I think we can do it a real quick, short answer to sort of end out the show here. If we're talking about flooded markets and flooded content and bad and good things and what we think of it, gotta say, the movie games, TV show games, on average, fucking terrible. The ones where you play the story.
Games based off of movies?
Yeah, so like the Transformers game that is just you play through the movie. Or the fucking whatever. I don't know.
I'd actually like to jump into that and actually think of some good ones and some bad ones.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
We definitely could. But
sure.
From a simple yes or no, do you think the ones that you just play that?
I think there's
Obviously
a higher number
sell.
of shit games than there are good ones. And I think they only sell because of the name attached to it, like Call of Duty every year.
That's all I was asking.
Yeah.
1000%. And that's exactly why a lot of licensed games exist.
Yeah.
Is they're either there to promote the movie that they're based on,
yeah,
or they exist to live off the license. There are exceptions, but typically going in either direction. Like, I'm just going to bring up the Max Payne movie right now. Fuck that movie all the way to hell.
Who was Max Payne in that?
Fucking Mark Wahlberg.
I thought so.
Fucking confused.
Yeah. I'm walking here.
You just like any excuse to pull out of Boston.
Yeah. I'm from Boston. Give me a burger.
You're just not. You're just not from Boston.
You gotta do it bad. You gotta do the bad Boston if you're gonna do it.
I'm walking here is very clearly New York.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't care.
So, more content, gooder or badder. I think we actually ended somewhere in the middle between all of us.
Unknown. Like, it's good to have options out there. I think that's
options
really cool.
Are good. I think
I love surfing through Game Pass and being like, don't know what this game is, and then I try it. I'm like, well, it was also shit. Damn.
Yeah. So give us more things, but make them more good.
Yeah, more gooder, but more of it. Sure.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Treat it like this. We want more door frame, but we don't want to have to cut out the light switch to make it fit.
That
is a terrible design.
Your door frame looks crooked, but sure.
That's definitely the camera.
Both.
But look at this atrocity just before we finish this show.
Okay. Before we finish, I should